Alrighty. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. So, today I have some fun stuff. I'm going to be building my Mode Envoy that I received. Let's go over the board first, actually. So, grab the box. First fun stuff I got. I mean, it's not that fun. It's foam. Got the foam kit. I'm a fan of foam, so I'm probably going to use all of it. But we'll see. Well, we might play around with that and find out. We'll see. But this is the case it comes in. I got the Mirage color, which is like a dark blue. So let me just zoom out a little bit. There we go. And pardon the wrist brace and awkwardness. I might be getting carpal tunnel. Something's going on. All right. So when we open her up, we've got, I don't know if I should do this on top of the keyboard here. So I currently have the Zoom TKL, Cool Gray, Soya, PPT keycaps from Canon Keys. Let's put this off to the side for now. Okay. And the rest. So this is the copper plate I got. Ooh, that looks nice. I am excited to see how this sounds. But it looks like it supports ISO as well as ANSI. Let's put that back. That is a nice looking. Let me know if the music's too quiet. I'm going to bump it up a little bit. There we go. Oh, that might be too much. All right. So that's the plate. We got the PCB up here. Ooh, tape. Okay. It's a pretty nice looking plate. It's got mode on the front. It's white. Hot swap. It's got standoffs, it looks like, there for the plates. And I think we are... I see holes down at the bottom. Those must be for stabilizers. And then it's got lattice block mounting on this, I know. So that'll be interesting. I've got the build guide up on my other screen here, so probably going to be using that. It's always great when they put build guides out for the builds. It's very useful. All right, what else is in here? We got some tools that it comes with. Switch puller, keycap puller, and then a little screwdriver, it looks like. Are there bits? Where are the bits? Hold on. Must investigate. I think it's just a screwdriver. There's no bits included, which is fine. I mean, this is kind of nice to include, but I use my own tools. I have something similar to the WoW stick that Hippiotech uses, so if you guys are familiar with him, you know what I'm talking about. It's an electric screwdriver. All right, what else we got here? We got 3 bags. Okay, so these are the lattice blocks, lattice mounts, and the gray feet. I got gray feet for this. Okay. Put that back in there for now. What do we have here? Fasteners. Oh, okay, so here's the bits for the screwdriver, as well as a bunch of screws. Looks like a couple of them have like rubber. There's black rubber mounts, it looks like. I don't know if you can see that there on that screw. Okay. And then we got the daughter board and cable. Righty. And now let's get to the main event here. Keyboard. So, let's do the gold accents first, since they're right there peeking out at you. I got gold accents, so it's like a navy and gold theme. So this is the accent piece that goes on the top, and then this weight / accent goes on the bottom with the rubber feet poking kind of through these holes here. Goes through the back. Okay, and then the keyboard. Oh yeah, that's a nice color there. So that's the Mirage colorway. I like the angles on the side profile. So that thin accent piece goes along here, and then this bigger one goes on the bottom there. Fits in nicely. Sweet. Alrighty. So those are all the parts. That's what we're building today. I've already lubed and filmed my Neapolitan switches. Unfortunately, I did not already lube and tune my stabilizers, which on the build list is the first thing to do, followed by lubing switches. So no one likes it. No one likes watching it, but we're gonna lube and tune our stabilizers first. But you know, I feel like there's a million videos out there already on how to do this. I guess I'll kind of go over how I like to do it. Let's put this off to the side for now. Okay. So, oh, you know what? Yeah, no, I don't have... I'm going to grab a paper towel real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I've returned with a paper towel and my tweezers, which are also important. So, headphones back in here. All right, let's get a little more room over here. So, stabilizers, fun. So I've got the Staebies around 2.1. I don't know if you can read that here. There we go. The black nylon palm Staebies, brand new. So let's see. We've got our screws and washers. We've got the housings and stems. And then in this styrofoam, we've got the wires. So what's nice is it comes with both the 7U and the 6.25U wires on this, which is nice. Actually, speaking of, I believe this is 625. I'm assuming so, but I should check. Let me look at the build guide. Anybody know, chat? Want to help me out? Looking at the website here. Envoy. Features. Mounting system. Yes, yes. Let's see. PCB. It's 1.6 millimeter thickness. That's nice. Okay. You know, it doesn't say. I think it's... Oh, so it supports both. So it supports... For hot swap, it supports step caps, which I am a fan of. I don't know if you saw my zoom, but got step caps here. So it supports both 6.25 and 7U space bars. I'm going to go with the 6. I'm a fan of 6. So we're going that way. Good. Decided. Excellent. All right. So tools you're going to need for tuning and lubing your stabilizers. Obviously some lube. I use dielectric grease, Permatex dielectric grease. It's nice and thick, works great. If you also wanted to, you could use Krytox 205 grade 0. I don't feel it's necessary really. A flat surface, I use my iPad or your phone screen. Most of those things should be pretty straight and flat. Tweezers are helpful too, to straighten out your bends on the wires. 2 sets of tweezers work great. I see a lot of people use like the syringes, the empty syringes, to kind of twist it, but tweezers work just as well, and most people have tweezers. They might not have syringes. So let's pull out what we need. This is my first 65. So actually, let me look at the layout. How many will I need? I think 1, 2, 3. I'm going to need everything here. Perfect. Looks like 3 2Us and the 6.25. So let's start with all the 2U ones. So I'm going to pull out the 2U. Let's put it on the... Grab my iPad. And let's do some testing to see how flat it is. So you only need it... You need to know what the orientation you're doing. You need to keep like an upside. And that's the side you need to test to see if it's laying flat or not. So I'm going to take one of my ears out so I can hear. And what you want to do is, what I usually do is I grab my 2 tweezers I'm going to use. And you just kind of tap on each side. And if it's making solid contact like this side is, I'm not hearing or feeling a gap before it bottoms out on the screen. That's good. There's a slight... And you can kind of hear more of a tapping sound when you hear on the left side here. Whereas on the right side, it's solid. It sounds like I'm just tapping the screen almost. So the left side is raised a little bit because there's a gap. I'm going to flip it around the other way now just to see if this side's fine. Because if it is, then we'll use that way. Right side solid. This is better, but there's still a little bit of a gap. So this left side here is raised, so I'm going to bend it down. So what I do when I do that, so I'm going to keep the side it was orienting. So I'm going to take this, pinch it between each tweezer side, and I'm going to bend this left side down a bit. All right, a little bit works. Still a little bit. And there we go. Sounds good to me. So now that I have it oriented the way I want, I'm going to set it off to the side this way so that I know up is up. I'm leaving that over here. Up is up. So I'm going to just lather, rinse, repeat on each one here. That is good already. Perfect. Set that to the side. Third one. Oh, that one's good too. Lucky me. All right. Spacebar is usually the tricky one though. It's the longer one. Let's see. Yeah, that left side is pretty bad actually. Flip it around just to see. Same thing, yeah. All right. Same, it's actually, oddly enough, same thing. The left side's a little higher. So I need to bend it, rotate this way, basically. So I'm going to crank this down. And with these longer ones, sometimes I take it the long way and hold the right side the long way, since there's a lot more wire to bend. Oh, it's actually pretty close. It's still a little bit of a gap. Just on the end here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take this whole thing and support it as much as I can. And I'm just going to twist this end a little bit here. And you just kind of do this by feel and sound. Still a little bit more. It's being a little stubborn here. Clear a notification real quick. Okay. It doesn't feel like it's changing. I'm going to bend it a little harder now, a little more force. down a little bit. A little more force. And this is why no one likes watching stabilizer tuning. A little boring, tedious, and repetitive. But to get rid of rattle, it is worth it. So close. All right, almost there. A little more. Man, just the slightest bit more. There we go. That's it. All right, so now we have our wires tuned so that they're flat. We have the orientation up, correct. I'm going to set that off to the side there. So done with the iPad. No longer need this. Now comes the lubing. So, oh, you know what? Need a tool. Okay, got the cross tool here. So I tend to only lube the stems, or sorry, the housings. I don't really do the stems much, if at all. Actually, I don't lube them at all. What am I saying? I don't. But what I do instead is I lube the housing a bunch, and then I lube the wires that go into the stems. And usually that's enough to kind of cover everything. All right, get my lubing tools out. Don't need these. I already lubed my switches, so I won't bring up the lubing station. Everything's falling apart. Oh gosh. All right. So what I'm going to need here, let's grab brush. That's really it, actually. Don't judge me, guys. I have a glorious brush only because I had store credit. And I needed to spend it. All right. So when you grab your housing here, there is, for the Staebies, these are screw-ins. So there's the screw hole side, and then there's like a clip side. And on the clip side is also where the wires clip in on the front here. So let's see if we can get that to focus a little bit there. There we go. So you'll see on the clip in side there, on this side that's showing by my thumb, that is where the wire goes in. It clips in right there, and this enters the stem on this front hole here. On the other side, it's solid, can't go through. So what we're going to do is, what I like to do actually is grab where did I put my lube? Oh, I pulled it out. So I have syringes with dielectric grease in to kind of tune stabilizers after they're already in. So we'll put that aside for later. But I've also got, I got this cheap lube that came in my lubing station, as well as Krytox 205G0. I like to use the cheap stuff on stabs, just because you tend to use a little bit more in stabilizers, and Krytox is expensive. So I like to save that just for switches. So yeah. I'm going to use this cheap stuff for the housings. It's some like no brand lubricating, keyboard switches lubricating grease. So it is a grease, it's a little thicker. So I'm going to wipe off my brush here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the housing, grab a fairly healthy amount there on the brush. I'm just going to go on the insides, all four sides basically of this stabilizer housing, and I'm going to spread it around evenly. It's going to be hard to get on camera, but there we go. Yeah, nice and even. So just even out the layers on basically the three sides, because the fourth side has this hole where the stem goes in. And now that I've got it lubed up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my stem. And I already mentioned the front where the hole is. We're going to look for the side of the stem with two holes in it. And that faces towards the front here. That just goes right in. And Staebies are pretty tight in tolerance, so they go in a very specific way, and only that one way. So now I've got that kind of assembled. I'm going to put that off to the side and move on to my next housing. And this is a lather, rinse, repeat. We're going to just keep doing this on all the housings. Now, there's a fine line. I know I said you use a little bit more in stabilizers versus switches when lubing. That is true for sure, but especially with Staebies and TX stabs, they're kind of tighter tolerances. So if you over lube, there's more danger of them, kind of binding up and seizing up because they're tighter tolerances. So you still want to be wary. You don't want to just gup it up with way too much lube. All right, so I've got two housing and stems set here, and I've got them set to the side upright. And you'll notice everything I'm keeping upright. So I'm going to go ahead and build my first one here. I'm going to make sure I keep up. I'm going to grab my right side first. Actually, let's lube it up before I do this. So again, making sure I know which side is up. I'm going to do my right side first. So I'm going to wire this wire. I open up my dielectric grease. And I'm just going to get a healthy amount. So I'm going to kind of squeeze it so that it's coming up towards the top. I'm going to dunk this right side in. Get a pretty good amount here on the wire. And I got it a little bit past the bend. I don't know if that's easy to see. Yeah, you can kind of see it's past the bend here because we want to get that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my right side here. I'm going to put it into the housing, or the stem rather. So I put it in that bottom hole of the stem, and then I've got to clip it into the housing now. And that's why we got past the bend, because we also want to lubricate where this clips in on the housing. to eliminate as much rattle as possible from that area. So now I've got the right side done. I'm going to lube up the left wire now. All right, first one done. And this does get a little messy. I'm getting lube on my hands and I'm kind of just wiping off on the paper towel here. That's why I have it. If you don't want to deal with that, definitely wash your hands after you're done messing with keyboard stuff and lube, obviously, but you could also just wear gloves if you prefer. I like the feel of working with my hands, so I don't. But that's up to you. All right, lubing her up, lubing her up. A little more. For this third side. I honestly can't decide what stabilizer is my favorite. Definitely have my top two that I've tried. So I've tried Duroc V2s, I've tried Staebies, and I've tried the TX. The TX and the Staebies are my favorite for sure. I almost want to say the TX I like a little bit better, but they're tougher to install. Part of the reason they're so good is because they eliminate rattle because their tolerances are very tight. So when you try to clip the wire into the housing, it is so tight and it is very difficult to do because of that. So it's definitely really nice, but it's a little harder to install because of that. So I guess pick your poison. The Staebies are still really nice. Still pretty tight tolerances. They sound a little different too. I would say, I think the Staebies to me sound a little bit deeper, a little thockier, and I am a fan of thock. So if sound is more important to you, I'd say go with the Staebies. Otherwise, overall, I think the TX might be a little bit better. And for the TX, I've tried the revision 3s and then the almost perfects, which are revision 4. And none of them have disappointed me. I know with the Staebies, if you tried round 1, their stems were thicker, so they weren't as compatible with keycaps. I know my friend that got me into the hobby actually had the round 1s and they weren't compatible with his KAT profile keycaps because they were so thick. In the revision 2 and 2.1s, they actually did decrease the size of the stem by like 0.1 millimeter to address that. So if you ran into those issues, make sure you're getting revision 2 or later. Right. Another 2 stems. Let's get a wire ready. So I'm a creature of habit. I always do right side first. That's just how I like to do it. But as long as you know what side's right and left, and from that up, obviously, you should be set. Alrighty, let's get this wire nice and lubed up. Alrighty. It's like this part right here where you clip it in. Really easy on the Staebies. Not so on TX. I legitimately saw marks and was getting a little... It was a little painful trying to clip in the TX stabs. But... Hey. Why don't I have enough housings here? Hold on a minute. Was this not a new box? This was not a new box. I've only got 2 wires left, but I have 3 stabs I need to do. Get my stabilizer box out here. These are the Wuche ones. The heck? Oh boy, this is a problem. I guess I'm gonna use one of these Wuche Studio ones. Because I only have 3 here. I've never mixed and matched, so I'm not going to bother using the wire. I'm just going to use the space bar for the last one here on the Staebies ones. And I'll use a Wuche Studio version 3 on one of the other ones. Maybe one I don't use too often, like Left Shift or something. I'm not sure what happened here. I guess I must have... Oh, I know. I think one of my builds has had an issue. And I swapped out one of the stabs with the Staebies one. So that must have been that. Oh no, I got lube on my desk mat. Paper towel. Don't abuse your desk mats like I do. That's not good. That's okay. All right, I guess I'm going to have to wash this later. Anyways, I guess back to the final stabilizer, Staebies stabilizer. All right, so this will be the space bar. I guess I'll throw this back in here. Oh, you know what? This makes more sense. I think this did come with more than 6. Because it had to support a full size, so that would have been 1, 2, 3, 4. Not 3. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense in my head. That must have been what happened. All right, so, ooh, that's a little too much. There we go. Alrighty, and if you couldn't tell from the name down there in the now playing, I am playing Stream Beats by Harris Heller. He makes some nice free copyright-free music for streamers. Highly recommend checking out his channel. He's got great music if you're a streamer, but if you're looking into becoming a streamer as well, his YouTube channel is basically like how to stream, like how to become a good streamer, or what to prioritize, what to look into. I only stream for fun on the side, but I think it was still very helpful looking at some of the stuff he puts out. If you're like not sure what kind of equipment you might want to look into, it's good. I mean, right now I got a 2-camera setup. I've got one nicer one that I'm using for the overhead, and then my face cam right now is literally just like a Logitech webcam. Whatever works, right? Alrighty. I'm done with this stuff, so let's put it away. Back in its little baggie. Just because the seal wasn't the greatest on it. Alright. Wires. Right side first. So I'm grabbing this from this orientation. This is the right side. Okay, and left side. And you do want a pretty healthy amount of lube on this wire, because that helps eliminate the rattle within the actual stem. Alrighty. All right, we've got all of our stabilizers lubed. Oh, and you do want to test the functionality. I'll show you with this Wuche one since it's white. It's a little easier to see. You want to make sure that when you're holding the housings, they go up and down on each side like this. You can see. Moves up and down freely. Moves up and down freely from the housing. So double check that with all of them. I was doing that, but it wasn't obvious on the camera. Just make sure they all operate correctly. All right, we've got our stabilizers done. Let's go back to the build guide. Step 2 is lubing switches, which I already did ahead of time as well. So that's done. So I'm going to need an M2, an M2.5 or 3, and a Phillips, it looks like, which I have on my screwdriver. So I'm good there. Let's do away with one of these tweezers for now. I'll put this in my drawer. Let's clear out some of the stuff we don't need anymore. So I'm going to put away these. Which, oh, actually, do I have enough screws for everything, or am I going to need to grab a set? Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8. I have exactly 8 screws, which is how many I'm going to need. Let me grab that extra set of screws just in case, because I don't want to count these washers. They're clear and hard to count. Other side. Oh, I already had it out. I thought I had and didn't realize. So these Wuche stabilizers came with the Zoom kit, the Zoom's TKL that I am currently using for my keyboard. And the stabilizers were okay. They're kind of interesting. They're screw-in stabs, and they actually come pre-wrapped, kind of like with the plumber's mod, if you're familiar with that. It's basically you like wrap the ends of the wires that go into the stems with like electrical tape or heat shrink, and that helps minimize rattle within the stem and the wire, which is kind of neat. But they still kind of gave me quite a bit of rattle eventually, even after a bunch of tuning and lubing. So I gave up and just threw some Staebies in there, and it's been great ever since. But it was, if I remember right, it was the space bar that mostly gave me rattle. Actually, just in case, I want to say it was only the space, but it could have been one or two of the others as well. I'm going to just keep the whole box out just in case this stabilizer gives me trouble. I'll swap it out with another one. But I've also got the screws here for that. Keep this all together. Over here, I can put my dielectric grease away for now. All right, build guide. What am I doing? Test the PCB. Man, do I really want to do all that? Test the PCB? I should. Let's do it right. This is a nice keyboard. Let's do it correctly, I guess. All right, so what I'll need is I need the PCB and the daughter board. Got a massage yesterday. They didn't get all the knots out, but it's tender because I had a lot of knots. So, ooh, yeah. Let's grab. There's the daughter board, and I already had the PCB out from earlier. Okay. Alrighty. So I need to open keyboard tester. I just use a website usually. I know VIA has a built-in key tester, but this one works just as well. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share my screen. Hello? There we go. Whoa. Anyways, let's just move that off to the side, actually. All right, so I've got this up. Hopefully that's working, because I don't know if it is. Okay. Well, let's do that for now. Sure. All right. Anyways, I've got that up there. Let's switch my camera actually with you know what? We'll just trust that I'm doing this properly. Because I don't want to... Actually, no. Here, I have an idea. go. All right. Bear with me here. I am moving things around. That looks right. Not quite. Let me fix this a little bit. Grab my keyboard again. I'm gonna need it. There we go. There we go. Magic. Oh, wait. That's way too big still. This is much harder with this other mouse. There we go. I did it, guys. I did a thing. All right. So what we're going to do, let me move my brush off to the side here. Clean that off real quick. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to move stabilizers a little bit. Going to take out our daughter board here. All right. So I'm connecting the daughter board to the cable here. I'm going to take out my PCB. And the instructions say to put it face down. So I'm just going to put it face down on top of this anti-static bag for extra safety. I mean, my desk mat is not staticky, but just in case. All right, so we're going to put that face down. We're going to connect the daughter board. I'm dumb. It's this way. Watch me struggle with a JST cable for like 2 minutes, it feels like. All right, we're going to connect the USB. And I saw some, I think I saw a light up there. Anyways, now we're going to do the jumper. Let's make sure I'm in the keyboard tester. There we go. Is that delete? Back. Plus. I'm hearing things. That's good. look at the screen to see. If I hear a noise, I'm going to call it good. And then I'll look at the screen afterwards to see if anything was missed. All right. All right. Caps. Step caps both work. Cool. Awesome. Looks like everything's working. Alrighty. Oh, there's no tilde. That's right, because it's a 65. This is my first 65 build, guys. I'm excited. All right, so it looks like everything's working. That's good. So oh, perfect. We're good. So that's good. Keyboard testing for the PCB seems to be good. Let's move stuff back around where we had it. Excellent. Tested PCB. All right, so install lower feet. All right. I'm just going to disconnect the daughter board and put the PCB back in its anti-static bag. Now. Oh boy. Come on, bag. You can do it. Doesn't want to go in. Really doesn't want to go in. It's getting caught on some of the hot swap sockets. So, there we go. Go in your home. The bag is your home, PCB. Are you too good for your home? All right. Let's put my other keyboard back. Alrighty. So install feet. So there's 2 lower silicone feet that go on the recessed channel, and then the now we are getting to the fun stuff. All right, so actually let's put this back in its bag too for now. I'll leave it attached, that's fine. So the feet, I believe, were this one. No, that's fasteners. There we go, feet. and the actual keyboard. Case. Just leave that in my lap for now. Okay, let's take her out. So this is going on the back side, guys. 2 recessed spots there. And then the dot feet and weight afterwards. All right, so let's do the recessed feet first. Fit pretty well on those recessed channels. There's not a lot of wiggle room in there. There's a bit that you can play around with, but nothing that's going to look bad or misaligned if you're not perfect. So that's nice. All right, next step. Install feet and weight. So the dot feet go in the back of the Envoy. Weight. So that's... Let's just try to get everything out of here. There we go. So I want these gray dot feet. Let's put all these lattice blocks back. That'll be for later. And then the back weight. So that is this guy here. Okay, so everything here is, it's wrapped in this plastic. So let me see if I can get this off carefully without needing scissors, maybe. Aha, got it. I like the plastic wrap. It's a nice touch. It keeps it nice and safe, looking pretty. All right, so the lattice blocks, I believe, just go in. Guys, I have cats. Fur is everywhere. Okay, that goes in nice and easy, like that. Okay, so I press these through, which is not a problem. I'm going to need a screwdriver because these get pressed in here. All right, so it looks like it only goes on one way because it's got the cutout. So this is going to go like this. Oh no, the dot feet came out of this side. I'm struggling. All aboard the struggle bus. All right, interesting. So this one's staying in by friction, but this one is not for whatever reason. So put that side in first. Here we go. Okay, and then it's 2.5 by 3 screws. So for that, actually, you know what? Why don't I use, since Envoy was nice enough to include tools and everything, let's use their fastener tool and screwdriver and everything. So they want thank you mode for tools. That's kind of nice. I mean, if people don't already have their own tools, this is, I think, very helpful to include. All right, fasteners. So it's a 2.5 head and screws. So let's kind of dump everything there. And everything is labeled, I assume. Yeah, that's a 1.5. Here's a 2.5. It looks like a 2.5. This one's not labeled. Interesting. Well, I can tell just by looking at it, there's only 3 heads. 1.5, a 2.5, and a Phillips. So let's find the screws that fit this head. With the 2.5 by 3 screws. There's only 3 of them. Okay. So I think the thread size is 2.5, but the bit size is 1.5. Looks like these screws. There's 1, 2, 3 of them. Oop. Yep. All right, so let's get the center in there first. Well, it's magnetic too, which is nice. Oh no. Flip around. There we go. That's the money right there. Don't need it super tight, just hand tight is fine. And we've got our bottom weight in. Let's go to the accent piece now. Yes. Okay, so this has another 3 screws, same size. It says 2.5 by 3. Let me look at the pictures to make sure I'm using the right screws for these things then. Looks like it. Oh, and I've got to screw these in at an angle for this top piece. It says caution. Don't use the full-size screwdriver, just use the bit. That makes sense? You don't want to scratch the bottom of your case here while you're screwing in the accent piece. So let's get it out. And this is also covered in plastic. This might be a little tougher to remove. Let's see. All right, I got it off. So screw holes are there. So those are going to go in towards the keyboard here. And it looks like, doesn't matter. Oh, that's nice. So they included screws on. It looks like it doesn't matter which way it goes in. It's the same. All right. Yeah, that's a tight angle. Actually, let me pull this out real quick just to see what size thread. I think it's this one. Yeah. There they are. 3 of them. All right, so install this back. And so what I need to do is actually take the head off because this doesn't fit. As you can see, this fits barely, but that's before the bit's in. So you just use this head to screw in like so. And that's not bad. I'm going to loosen it up a little so there's still some wiggle room for these other 2. Oh yeah. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Last one. All right, so it looks like there is a little play side to side. So before I start to actually drill it down, let's see if we can center it nicely on here. Nice. Alrighty. Next step, install daughter board. Okay. These were fasteners. I think I put it back in the... No, I did not put it back in here. Or did I? Yes, I did. It's the last one. All right. So this should be pretty easy. There's 4 screws. And the daughter board screws right into the base here. So it's going to go in like that, I think. Let me double check the picture. No, upside down. That makes more sense because, yeah, the cutout's on the bottom. So we're going to put it in like that. And they do recommend to connect the cable first here. Makes sense. And then the 4 screws. So they're these kind of screws. And it's the same bit we've been using. It's a 1.5 mil bit here. And the screws, I don't know if you can tell, have these kind of ridges. If you've got the build guide up, the Envoy build guide up, you can kind of see from the picture too. But these screws have like ridges on the outsides of the heads, so they're easy to identify. Just gonna get them threaded on here. Not gonna tighten it down yet. It's a good rule of thumb in general when you're screwing things down, especially if you have to line up a bunch of holes, is just get the thread started. And once you've got all of them in, then you can kind of, going opposite corners, finish tightening it all down. All right, daughter board's in. And they want you to double check and make sure the USB-C looks good, and it does indeed. Look at that, lined up perfectly. Excellent. All right, insert PE foam. So I do have PE foam. And there's quite a bit of foam to include here. So let's grab the foam kit. And I am a fan of the foam sound, so I'm just going to do all of it. So, comes in this nice little package from Mode, and it's labeled there, Envoy Foam Kit. Nice, easy, perforated and pull tie to open. Bam. Let's take a look inside, shall we? And there's the sheet to go on the PCB, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right, so it looks like there's 3 foams. We've got the PE sheet, or the IPXE sheet, that goes on the PCB. Lay it on top of the PCB now. Let's do that first. We've also got, it looks like, so there's the PE. This is the mid plates that this goes in between the plate and the PCB here. and then this one goes under the PCB, between the PCB and the case. So this one's the mid plate foam. So that'll go on top like that, and then this actually goes on the bottom, below the PCB. I think that's gonna go like this, and probably this threads through that like that. Sure, looks probably right. No, I think it's the other way. Yes, this looks more correct, I think. Nope, maybe not. You know what? We're just gonna go with the PCB for now. The plate. And then we'll go from there, because it says right now to do the PE foam on top of the PCB. So we're gonna do that. We're doing that for sure. Okay, so we've got our PCB. Let's throw the sheet on top of that. Let's see, which way does this go? Probably this way. Looks like this way. Nice, yeah, that's it. That's the money. All right. So we're going to move the case off to the side because we're going to install our stabilizers now. Oh, someone's at the door. Be right back. All right, guys, so we're installing our stabilizers next. So I just go left to right. So I think I'm going to do the Wuche Studio one on this left shift. So I'm going to... Actually, let me see if I need the mid-plate foam now as well. Or if I can get away with doing it after. It looks like I can do it after. Yeah, it leaves space for everything. So I can do the stabilizers first. I'm going to just throw that off to the side there for now. Alrighty, let me get my other ear in. Alright. So, you've never done screw and stabs before. You'll notice on the PCB there's a larger set of holes and a smaller set of holes. So the larger set is for where the clips go, and the smaller set is where the screws go. So you do the large clip in first, which is on the bottom here on this left shift. And then it should settle down. And if it's not, it might bind a little bit because the stem isn't seating properly, or you're not seating into the bottom hole right. So mess around with it until you get it to sit flush, like so. There we go. I got both sides in. So now I screw. So I'm going to grab probably, let's see, let's look at, I'm going to do with the Wuche Studio, I'll do the Wuche screws. Actually, these silver ones. Let's pull these out. So well, this one's already threaded through. I like it. There's one. And there's two. And, oh man, these are tiny. All right, so these ones, I think are Phillips heads. Yeah, they're Phillips heads for the screws. So I can actually grab Phillips head on this. And since they're magnetic, I can go ahead and put it on first. Nice. All right, so since I already have it flush, I'm just going to try to flip it up and start screwing this in. Not too tight. Again, we want to line both of them up before we bite it down completely. So got one in and threaded. Let's get this other one. Nice. And that's threading there. So now I'm going to bite them down. You don't want to over tighten stabilizers either, because that can cause some binding in the actual stabilizers. Shout out to Alex Otos, who shared this on a stream one time, and it helped me fix some stuff actually with some of my stabilizers. So what I like to do is I get it pretty snug, and then I like back it out ever so slightly, but like maybe an 1/8 of a turn, if even that. 1/16 of a turn, just a little out. Snug it up and back it out just a little bit, and that should be it. All right. For our space bar, we're doing... Hello, An's here. I think she's in the kitchen. And then, so 6.25 space bar for this. And then the Staebies screws, I believe, are back to hex head. And I think 1.5. It might be 2. Let's see. Let me grab one of these screws just to test on the 1.5 here. Oh, it is 1.5. Excellent. So that screw size is right. Switching back heads here on the bit. And then I need to grab the washers. So this is a pain trying to thread these little tiny screws into the washers. But hey, that wasn't too bad. That's one. Let's grab another screw here. Another washer. And another thread. Come on. There we go. Nice. All right. So same deal. You'll see on these bigger holes on the bottom. And I never remember, I want to say, yeah, that's a 6.25. And these actually went right in, which is nice. So what we're going to do is so I like to make sure they don't come apart. So I pinch from the top. Let's get that started there. Well done. That's in. And then the other side. So the space bar is my one exception to the rule I was saying earlier where I don't like screw it all the way down. I want to make sure it doesn't come out at all. So I snug it down almost completely on the space bar. Oh, I might have pushed that out. Yeah, I pushed that out. That's why you want to hold your stabilizer from the other opposite side so that it doesn't pop out while you're screwing it in. And again, I'm going to snug it down pretty good. Let me snug it down both sides and then I'll show you how much I back it out. To make sure it's not too tight and binding. So they're pretty snug now. They're both significantly snug. And then I'm going to back it out like, all right, now it's seated. I'm going to back it out like that much. So maybe like 1/8 of a turn, 1/16 of a turn. And then we want to just kind of see if it's moving, grabbing the stems and pulling up and down, and they're moving pretty freely there. That's good. That's what we want. All right. Next set. So you'll notice the enter here is opposite. Big holes are on top. So the clips go on the top now. That side goes in first, and then they sit in flush and easy. All right, I'm gonna just dump all of my screws and washers here just to see what I'm working with, because I might need to steal some from the Wuche studio. All right, that's empty. I have just the right amount. Just the right amount of washers here. 4 washers. But I have 6 screws, so that's fine. We have what we need. So I'm going to go ahead and start threading them now. Just to get it all out of the way at once. Oh, I undid one. Oops. Gosh. Last one, of course, doesn't want to go in. Come on. Alrighty. These 2 are extra. I'll just put them back in the bag now. Okay. Oh, wait. I only need... Oh, yeah, no, I haven't screwed this one yet. Okay. No, I do need all 4. I almost did a brain fart. Don't mind the brain farts. They happen often for me. Okay, there's one. And here's 2. And again, I'm going to back it out a bit. We just want it screwed in so that it's snug and not able to move, but not to the point where it's like binding. So quick test. It's pretty good. The left side's a little tight, so I'm going to back it out a little more. There we go. last stabilizer. And this is back to the normal orientation, big holes on the bottom. So that's kind of typical. Most keyboards are going to be just the enters kind of flip-flopped from the normal. Everything else is usually screws top, clips bottom. And once they're installed, that's actually the point where you're probably going to want to test them. Just to make sure they're not needing any more attention before we fully build this keyboard. So what I like to do is throw in switches. And then the keycaps that we're actually going to be using. Throw them into test and see how they sound. So let's, I need to grab that. Give me a second. I'm going to grab the keycaps. Okay, here they are. And the switches I have off to the side here too. So the keycaps we're using are PBT Moon keycaps from Canon Keys. Canon Caps is the brand. They're Canon Keys branded keycaps, but pretty nice. And I need to decide now what I'm using. Here is the base set. It's kind of a cool, like a light cool gray with a navy and gold, which kind of goes with my setup, as you might tell. You know, I like the blue, white, black, gold kind of setup with my desk mat. Do want to use the other enter key here, the golden one. Kind of like that enter key there with the art. I want to use as much art as possible. So, oh, I also want to decide which color scheme am I going, 2-tone or 3-tone actually. I think most of the 65s I've seen go 2-tone. But let me look up some inspiration real quick. Some of them will go 3-tone, some of them do 2-tone. I'm going to go 3-tone. I think I'm going to do the escape and the enter gold, and then the rest navy and gray. Yes. Decision made. And then maybe, do I have arrows that are gray? Let's see. The arrows here are gold. Let's see if they included gray as well. They did not. Okay, that works for me too, actually, honestly.
Do you think I should get a jacket too? I left it in my car. Do you think I should bring it? So the only reason I'm wrapping it, you know, because of the sun exposure. Oh, okay. So if you feel like you're really tired, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna grab the jacket. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going 3-tone. I'm going 3-tone. I don't think I have the option anyways on the arrow keys. So
Okay. See you, bye.
Bye. Okay. Right. Decisions. We're going to do the golden art for enter. For sure. That's going there. And then navy for pretty much everything else, and then gray for the space bar. All right, switches. Oh, they're buried. Oh, it's becoming a mess around me slowly but surely. That's okay. All right. So we're going with Neapolitan switches. They're tactiles. I am tactile gang, but I enjoy the linear every once in a while too. I actually have Oil Kings in my Zoom TKL right now, which is my main keyboard. And then I've got Holy Pandas in my work keyboard at work. So I've got both. But let's grab 1, 2, 3, 4 switches. All right, we got 4 switches out. I can put the rest of these other switches. I can put these other switches away for now. Don't need these. Okay, so I'm going flip space bar. I always forget which hole the these are south facing, right? Yeah, they're south facing. Let me double check this 6.25 though. It might be opposite. Yeah, south facing. Okay. If you go in 7U, it's actually a north facing socket. Keep that in mind. But I'm going 625, which is this one, which is a south facing socket. And when you're inserting into hot swap sockets, always support the back. I'm using the desk mat below to support the back. Interesting enough, there's no PE foam under the backspace or tab here. All right, now we can install our keycaps. We can listen. Sounds okay. Sounds pretty good too. Oh, hello. Thank you, thank you. Thanks for the follow. Hey, D-Money, what's going on? That sounds good to me. And the last one, backspace here. sounds good to me as well. All right, so our stabilizers are good. Now we take everything back out. And sometimes your switch will come with you. That's fine. Actually, I think all these switches are going to come out with this pole. Because there's no plate in yet. Oh, God. That switch went flying somewhere. There it is. For sure. D-Money is not phone verified, so you can't type in chat. Alrighty. Set these switches off to the side. Keycaps off to this side. All right. So we've got stabilizers in. Alrighty. So next step, what we're going to do is we're going to install our mid plate foam and then our plate on here. Let me put the keycaps back in our box. Alrighty. So where'd our plate go? So this nice copper plate, it's gonna go on plate with the plate foam here. All right, so I'm gonna put the plate here for now, and we're gonna lay down our plate foam. Dun, dun, dun. We're gonna make sure everything's laying nice and flat here, just to make sure it's lined up. Excellent. And then we're gonna lay our plate down on top of this, like so. Okay, the flat head. Oh, I have to remove the orange covers on top of the standoffs. Now you tell me. I should have read the instructions first, guys. I like to say I'm the professional idiot. Don't try this at home. Well, you can, but don't follow my lead all the time. There's like this weird cover on it. Orange cover. Grab my tweezers. Maybe these will help. It really doesn't want to come off. Come on. Oh, it's coming slowly but surely. Let me grab different tweezers. These angled ones are not cash money right now. Oh yeah, there we go. These were it. Bam. I mean, they're still not easy to get off, but these are better. You just gotta peel, peel, peel. They're on with like surprisingly strong adhesive. There we go. Two more on this side of the PCB. I'm just gonna peel with my, I gotta start with my fingernail and then finish with the screw or the tweezer to remove these screw hole covers. Oh man, it's tough. There we go. Got it started, so now there we go. I've never had more problems with removing adhesive in my life. There's like no little, you know how they have the little helpers on a lot of things that you're supposed to remove the adhesive from, the little tag that's sticking out so you can grab it? Does not exist here. Anywhere. So that would have been nice to have on here somewhere to just like grab. But I got it. Mission accomplished. These tweezers back. Put our plate foam back on. There we go. This is the right way. Just get everything laying down properly. Everything's nice and flat. Everything looks lined up. Alrighty. So now we're going to put on our plate and screw it in. So what heads are these? Also 1.5s. Nice. At least they made everything more or less kind of the same screw head, which is nice. Makes building it a lot easier when you don't have to change the bit out all the time. Ooh, the screwdriver's a little squeaky though as you rotate. I could need some. Yeah, it's this head. So this head rotates and this stays fixed, and it, I don't know if you can hear it. Squeak, squeak, squeak. I'm gonna grease that later. I'm gonna grease that now. It's annoying me so much. Where's my super lube? Oh, it's way over there. Never mind. I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to get up. I will live with the squeak for now. I'll just not, here we go. I'll not hold the top. There we go. Not as convenient, but it avoids the squeak. All right, let's finish fixing these in. I'm excited to see how this copper plate sounds with the switches. All right. Now comes the fun part of installing all these switches. Okay, so for some reason, I don't know if you noticed. Oh, it's cut out. Looks like it's laser cut out, but the hole, it didn't completely remove these holes. You can see on these ones, you can kind of see through to the white, but not this one. Let me poke those out real quick. There we go. Okay. Now comes the fun part of installing all of these switches in. So the way I do switches, more or less, I just throw them in, but I'm very particular about my space bar and my backspace. So I will kind of hear all of the switches and see what might sound the best to me. Put those in the space and the backspace, and then I'll just throw the rest in. So I just kind of listen to a few. Ooh, that one's good. That one's pretty good too. I'll just do a few more. Maybe. Oh, that's it. All right, there's the two. So I'm going to do this one in the space bar here. And this one in the backspace. It's not quite sitting flat on this backspace here for some reason. There we go. I think I got it. Just didn't want to sit down properly. But I got it in. And now we just throw them in. Now what you want to keep an eye out for when you're installing your switches is obviously one, these, the contact point, the metal legs on the switch. Let's see if I can get this to focus up here. So these two, the golden ones, those are the metal contacts. You want those to be straight. If they are bent at all when you try to install it, especially in these hot swap sockets, they will continue to bend and fold. You can fix that with just some tweezers, straighten them out again. But it's good to just keep an eye on that before you actually install it, so that you aren't dealing with broken ones. And then as you're installing it, you want to kind of make sure it's aligned and flat, and then just push straight down and in. And you can check how they're sitting kind of from the side there too, to see, does it look like everything's flat? Or is the switch kind of, instead of sitting flat, is it kind of like wonky? And as long as you're careful with that, all these steps, you should have a perfect install. I say should because sometimes you don't always check, or it doesn't go in perfectly straight, but you kind of force it in. You can feel too as you're installing it. If it doesn't feel like it's going in, if you're feeling odd resistance, check to make sure everything's straight. It might not be. You might be slightly off from where you need to sit. But otherwise, you're kind of just chilling. With the stiff copper plate, I don't worry about it flexing if you're using a polycarbonate plate or a palm plate or something softer. You might want to either support it with, if you have one of those installation forks that they sell on like custom keyboard sites, an installation fork, or if you don't have that, you can just use like one of your switch pullers or your tweezers to support the plate underneath as you're pushing it in. That's especially important if you're not using any sort of like plate foam. If there's nothing between the plate and the PCB, that you can definitely run into some bending issues as you're installing them. Oh, that didn't feel right. Yeah, that's slightly bent. Can you see that? Focus, focus. You see how this one up on top is kind of bent down a little bit. So you can just grab your tweezers here, straighten them out. And I just make sure from the side it looks good. It looks better. And we're gonna throw it back in now and see. Yep. There we go. I see a lot of people like picking switches based on like a color scheme too. And I've kind of wanted to do that, but they sit under the keycap, so you never really see them. The only person who knows that they match is the person who's taken them apart or who's looked underneath the keycaps for whatever weird reason. Or someone who's built it. But there's something oddly satisfying about getting it to match. Oh, that didn't feel right. It looks okay. There we go. But this is definitely not the case here. You could definitely pick out a fun pink set though, if you wanted to match the Neapolitans. Like maybe a pink and orange, like a peaches and strawberry kind of keycap setup would be nice with this. I want to say I lubed and filmed the exact right amount of switches for this keyboard because I didn't want to do any extra. I was feeling especially lazy when I lubed these switches, so we shall see. I don't remember, honestly. Kitty, what are you doing? No, you're not allowed in there. You know better. I'll be right back. Cat emergency. Kitty, no. Okay. I am back. The cat did not get into the room she's not supposed to be in. So we're okay. Oh. I'm doing stepped caps on this. So as you can see, there's kind of two holes. Stepped caps is the one closer to the left, which is south facing still. Hot swap sockets there. So still south facing, which I'm surprised by. I would have thought the standards would be south facing and the oddballs would be north, but I don't know. I don't design PCBs. Something I'm noticing a little bit on these two is the plate, mid-plate foam alignment's getting a little off here, so I'm going to kind of just push it a little bit. Still goes in okay though. Alrighty. All right, we're almost there. It feels so quick because I'm used to building like TKLs or 75%. And this is my first 65%, so it doesn't feel like I've been doing it that long, but I'm already like, oh, we're like more than halfway done. Or about halfway done. More than halfway done. This is more than halfway. Very quick, very quick. I can see why 65s are popular. You don't need as many switches, which means you don't have to lube as many switches. Alrighty. Hydration break. Everyone hydrate. We're hydrated. Let's continue. And we're already almost there. Get these ones on the outside real quick just to make sure. Go. Alrighty. Last big row, and then we've got our bottom row, and we're done. With switches, at least. Alrighty. I think the next step after this is going to be...
D-Money Pipes
mounting blocks.
said /o/verified
nice.
so I can talk to ya lol.
Let's go. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to chat. Are you watching on Twitch or YouTube? Oh, that was not good. Ah, there we go. Twitch, it looks like. Yes, Twitch.
D-Money Pipes said Twitch.
Nice, nice, yeah. I think most people watch streamers on Twitch, and YouTube exists, but every streamer I've heard of that kind of switches usually loses quite a bit of viewership. So I just stream to both because I only stream for fun anyways. I like messing around with tech. So I found Restream, and it lets me do both at the same time, which is neat. Oh, that's a little bent. There we go.
D-Money Pipes said, for sure. Are
This
you
is for
building
me.
this for someone?
No, this is for me. I've been very excited about getting this in. It's my first 65%, so. Oh boy. These are all...
D-Money Pipes said, hell yeah.
7U versus 6.5. So we can do... Let me pull up the PCB design real quick. I think it's all... Pulling up the layout. Yeah, so 6.25, they're all... Yeah, 1.25 is on the left. So that one... That one... And that one. Are you into mechanical keyboards at all? Do you have a custom or ever built a custom? Ooh, interesting. So this one is going to be north facing.
D-Money Pipes said, nah, I got like a 10-year-old Logitech lol.
For sure. I mean, whatever works. If you're looking for another hobby that's a money pit, this'll do it. I really hope I did this right. I think everything's left, 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 and left. And if not, I'll find out.
D-Money Pipes said, TBH I want a really quiet keyboard.
Really quiet one? I have one for work, actually. When I started getting into mechanical keyboards, I brought one to work. And after the first meeting I went to, people started complaining that it was really loud. So I still wanted the nice mechanical keyboard and the feel of it. The ergonomics are really nice. So they make silent switches, and I got like a silent tactile switch keyboard with silicone keycap, so it was even quieter. So they exist out there. You can do it. Oh, look, I have one switch extra too. Alrighty. But next time I'm streaming keyboard stuff, I'll make sure I bring it home from work and I can show you. All right. Now, next step we're doing is installing the mounting blocks into the actual keyboard, which I don't think you've seen yet. So here's the keyboard. It is, color they call it is Mirage. It's this nice kind of faded blue, grayish blue, mostly blue, with gold accents and gray feet. That's how I configured it, but it's all customizable. And the installation on these is very interesting. They use what they call lattice blocks. It's these guys here, and they use two different hardnesses in the included. The green ones, the light green ones, are softer, which I like for type feel, a softer type feel, and then the black ones, which are a little stiffer. So let's grab these ones here. Let me take a look at the photo. I think it goes shorter side up. Yeah. So it just slides into that little wedge like that. Interesting. Oh, it's off. Wow. Fancy. It's definitely one of the most interesting mounting styles I've seen so far. They're coming up with so many different ways to gasket mount these things now. It's kind of funny, but whatever works. This installation is pretty easy, which is nice. Just need to make sure they're flush is the one thing. Other than that, it's real easy. And there it goes. Righty. Okay, now is always the most finicky part, trying to get the PCB to attach and then install. So it looks like, so the connector is here on the right side. So this is just gonna go connect like so. Come on, go in your home. I always struggle with connecting these JST cables. I don't know why they still haven't come up with a better way to connect things on keyboards. Because everyone complains about this. It's never the easiest thing in the world. All right, I've got it. And I just kind of throw it in, I guess. Oh no, I gotta do the bottom first. Bam. Oh, look at that. That was easy. It's in. Oh, that's definitely got some flex to it. You can kind of see the lattice blocks poking through on these little holes here where the mounting points are. Oh, one's off. See that on the bottom left here? It's not quite sitting right. Let me pull this out. Ugh. Do I just... that works. It's not screwed in yet. There we go. It's still not quite sitting right. Hold on. What's going on here? There we go. Now it's sitting right. All right, and then there's, I think the last step is to screw it in. These guys. And that's the bigger one. Swap out these bits here. That explains the little rubber on this. It's to help dampen and kind of cushion this as it screws in the plate. So I'm not going to clamp it all the way down super tight. I'm just going to screw it all the way down and then loosen it up a bit to give it some flex. There we go. Just enough so that it holds it in. Otherwise it moves pretty freely there. Nice. Okay. Keycaps time. All right, D-Money, you can help me decide how I want to do these colors. I already have my keycaps, but what I definitely want to do is kind of decide. So it's all around row 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the keycaps I've got for this. It's PPT Moon. I definitely want this golden enter key. That's going there. Oh yeah. And then the arrow keys here. Now for most everything else, I think we can go mostly standard. Got our escape key. Numbers. Interesting. So when I push kind of hard on the top row here, the whole keyboard lifts and kind of bends forward a bit. I think I heard about that a little bit about this guy. Oh well. I'm not typing super hard, so that shouldn't be an issue. Okay, and then backspace, yeah, we'll do navy. Now for my space bar, I do a flipped space bar. I don't like the look of it. The first few meetups I went to, I saw them on some keyboards and I did not like it at all. Then I tried it. It feels really nice. It just feels natural. So I think some people said it sounds a little bit better too. I didn't notice a difference. But hey, if you think it sounds better to you, sure. Have fun. Oh yeah, that copper plate definitely sounds very, very unique. Okay, oh, I need to get the stepped caps out of here. Where is it? There it is. Alrighty. We got... We're almost there. And then we can decide on what we want to do with the side row. I actually honestly don't even remember what keys they go to. So I'm going to have to pull up a keyboard tester to find out. But that's fine. I can get away with it. It's like I said, it's my first 65%. Ooh. Hello? There we go. Now that's sitting okay. Okay. Almost there, and then we can do a sound test. 2. I'm excited to hear how this sounds, actually. What I'm hearing so far, oh yeah. I like. Okay, so now we can kind of decide on what fun stuff we might want for the keycaps. Here's the last one I was looking for. Right. So it looks like they're standard 1.25 units on the bottom, which we actually have some fun stuff for here. Let me plug her in actually too, so that we can find out what goes where. We're not going to need these screws anymore. Feet, fasteners. There we go, fasteners. Oh, I forgot the PCB. Oh, we'll do a sound test with and without. Forgot the under PCB plate. Boom. But that's okay. I think. Let's get this plugged in here. So pull the key tester here. All right, so for my Windows key, I'll do this little moon. Yeah, keyboard tester is working. Let's click off that for now real quick. I think, oh, these are not Windows, so this is the only Windows. Okay, what does this do? Control and Alt. Is it the shift? Oh. There's my short shift. Yep, that's shift. Oh, you know what? Use the same profile. Gosh, that's annoying. Let me switch off that real quick. And I'm going to pull up, actually, Canon keys. I'm going to pull up the keycap set that I got just to make sure I'm putting in the right one in the right spot. That's a row 2. Okay, yeah. Row 1 is correct, though, so we're fine there. Okay. These are both Alt and Control. I think I'm just going to go the standard Alt and Control here. Although I might want to actually swap. Oh, this isn't right. Uh-oh. Grab my keycap puller. Try the other one. Oh, I think I just used the wrong Alt. Sizing is funky on 65s. Okay. What size am I supposed to use here? Looks like they're supposed to be standard. I think, yeah, I'm just supposed to. Use the other one, maybe. Let me see if this will come out. No, it didn't. All right, I guess I gotta get my switch puller out. goes. All right, yeah, I'm just going to try flipping this. I think that's it. Yeah, look at that. I figured it out, guys. Not very well, but I figured it out. All right, so yeah, it looks like those are standard. All right, let's find out what these other keys are, because I have no idea. Delete. Okay. Delete, page up, page down, end. Okay. I want to use fun keys for this one, guys. So let's see if we can figure out what we're working with. So it's on the top, that's row 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe. Yeah, it's telling you 1, 2, 3, 4. Delete, page up, page down, end. So what we're working with here for row 1, fun stuff. Oh, we've got some options. We got some options here. So let's see if we can decide together what we might want. Okay. I think I want to keep them all navy for these guys, so that the only pops of color are the escape, enter, and then the arrow keys. I might even swap out this escape to navy as well. We'll see. We'll see. We'll play around with it. We'll figure it out. But for row 1, we've got a bunch of different moons. Option 1. I'll actually leave it on there. Oh, so row 2 and we're very limited on rows 2 and 3. We've got, let me pull this up. Smiley face and a sad face. And then heart for row 4. Okay. So I'm kind of forced to do our only row 4 option is going to be space heart. So really we're just deciding on row 1. Let me put in the rest, what our options are. Okay, so that's kind of what we're locked into for these. For row 1, we can do the moon. We actually have a lot of options for row 1. We can do the moon. Actually, they're all moons. I don't, face moon, facey moon. We can do a couple different phases of the moon. We've got kind of a small crescent, a medium crescent, and a larger crescent. We've also got, I'm assuming this is supposed to be maybe like a planet with the sun behind it. Some sort of, it looks like a bomb, but I know this is astronaut themed. So maybe it's supposed to be like a planet or a moon with the sun behind it, is my guess. And then we've got the big smiley astronaut. Oh, 65%. Sorry, I did not even see earlier. 65% is the layout. So this is 65% because it doesn't have the function row. No F keys. And then the cluster is mostly gone, but it still has arrow keys. So that's a 65% keyboard. Then I've got, most of my keyboards are a bit bigger. This is my main keyboard right now. I'm using is an 80% or a 10 keyless TKL, which is this one. It's basically a full-size keyboard without the 10 key on the side. So you'll see basically the 65% is more or less just this section here. It doesn't have the tilde, it has the escape here. And then it's also got, you know, the arrow keys kind of thrown in here. So some of these are gone. You've got the arrow keys. And then on the side here, it's got a few that are normally here. So it's got delete, page up, and page down. These 4 here. And that's it. So there's no F row, no F keys at all. But we have all of these options to go in this one spot. So, I mean, I think the easiest obvious one would be the astronaut head, because it kind of matches the rest of them. These are all astronaut heads. But I'm okay with it being a little different. It could be a moon face, it could be a solar system. I think I'm not a big fan of these guys, so I think I'm gonna take these off the table for now. They're just plain moons. So we're looking at these 3. Sleepy moon is good. Yeah, let's do something different. We already got enough astronaut heads here. Let's do sleepy moon. I like it. And then that's the delete key anyways too. Go to sleep. Perfect. All right. Let me put all these other keys back. All right, next question. Do we like... So I'm kind of locked into the arrow keys. There's no other colors for the arrow keys. So these have to stay gold. Do we like a blue escape or the gold escape? And then same question with the enter key. Gold enter key or navy enter key? Navy enter. Yeah, I kind of like it that it breaks up this. Yeah, and I agree. The gold escape to have 2 pops of color somewhere. Let's do it. Gosh, I took the switch with it. Ugh. Switch back. Nice. Put this back. All right, I think that completes the layout and setup. Alrighty. Now, D-Money, have you listened to or are you familiar with sound tests at all? Thank you. I agree. This looks really nice. So, in the keyboard community, part of it is because it looks really nice and feels really nice, but the other thing a lot of custom keyboard guys are really into is the sound of the keyboard, and, you know, they do sound tests for that. So let me pull up typing test. So I'm going to turn off the mic filter so that it's not filtering out background noise. And basically, I'm just going to do a typing test and mic it up. So give me a moment while I move stuff around. Music too. That spacebar sounds nice. Okay, so that was the Envoy. For reference, let me grab my TKL. To give you like a comparison of sound. Alrighty. So yeah, very different sounds. The copper plate comes really nice. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think it sounds really good. Spacebar sounds really nice on this one. But yeah, you like that. So yeah, these ones are tactiles. So you might be hearing the double clicks. Is that what you're talking about? You hear the bump and then the bottom out. Yeah, you're a softer fan. Yeah, the zoom's really nice for that. It's a little deeper too, versus this one with the copper plate, a little more metallic-y. But I actually like it. I usually don't like the metal-y sounds, but with this I do. Nice. Okay. I do want to do a comparison though. I forgot to add some foam, which means I need to take it apart and add that foam. Shouldn't take too long. I really only need to take out the 2 screws so that I can pull the plate and PCB out and then throw the foam in. So if I remember right, those screws were here, I think. Yeah, here's one. And somewhere around here, I think. Can I see it? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's like right in between like 3 keys here, so I'm going to have to take them all out. Tab. I wonder if I can actually get to it with just the tab out. Let's see. Oh boy, I can. Doesn't want to come out. Let me grab my tweezers. All right. All right, let's see how this goes in. I think it goes in like this. That looks right. So the foams are supposed to help. They changed the sound. Honestly, you might like it a little more now because foams tend to dampen sound a bit. It changed the sound profile slightly as well. So I think you might be a fan of this change. I tend to like foam sounds too, so I probably will as well. I'm so glad I did not have to take all three of these keys out to get to that screw hole. All right. All right. Sound test number 2. Okay. I definitely like it better with the foam in there. It helps deepen it ever so slightly less metallic, but I think it still sounds pretty good. I like the copper. The copper plate is definitely a very unique sound, so I am a fan. This is where I'm landing for now, until I decide otherwise. You know, I tend to change my keyboards up quite a bit even after I build them. My Zoom started with some NK cream switches and I ended up with Oil Kings. So there's no saying what'll happen in the future, but for now I am actually pretty happy with this. It feels really nice. That's something you can't really describe, is these lattice blocks definitely soften the type feel quite a bit. And let's see, does it come up on VIA? Looks like it does. It's VIA compatible. I think I might swap out this Alt to be function, FN key. I'm surprised it doesn't come like that by default, actually. But luckily I can control this with VIA and set whatever keys I want to do whatever I want. So I guess that's it for now. I think until then, I'm chilling. So I'm gonna mess with some of the programming on this keyboard to set it up how I'd like. I want this to be FN function, and then from there I'll kind of mess around and see where we go from there. But that way at least I have my F row back. I can do F1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if I need it for something. But until then, I think that's it for this stream. Thanks for joining, D-Money, and anyone else who might have been lurking around and watching. I'm happy with the way this build turned out. It looks really nice. Yeah. Definitely reach out if anyone is interested. I like building keyboards, so it's fun for me. I'll do it. But until next time, thank you for joining. Have a good one. And have a good weekend, everyone.